Let me share with you what I do. I'm in the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness business. And let me share with you how I go about doing this. You know, this is also a very interesting weekend. It's obviously Super Bowl weekend. And I just want to remind everybody that each of you are in a Super Bowl battle every single day. And I guarantee you that the opponents you all are facing are stronger, faster, and more agile than Cam Newton and Peyton Manning. And I think it's extremely important for you to appreciate that germs and pollution, ultraviolet light, stress, unhappiness, sleep issues, and aging are much more powerful than any of these football players, all right? So in order to level the playing field, you need to get some superstars. You need some superheroes. And that's really where I put Pycnogenol. It's really the team member that I'd like to have to deal with the Super Bowl, all right? And let me show you why. This is a company, and Victor has invested millions of dollars over many, many years, and I mean millions of dollars, on research and science in the pursuit of truth. And I think that's what we're really talking about in medicine and in science. It's the pursuit of excellence. And I think that when you look at what Pycnogenol, a product that all of you are involved with, when you realize the myriad of things that Pycnogenol does, you'll appreciate why I call it a superstar. All right? So we all know how important health is. Obviously, without it, a lot of other things really don't matter. And health doesn't come to you because you feel entitled to it. You really need to work at it. You need to pursue it. You need to understand about nutrition and sleep and stress and exercise. It's something that you need to pursue on a daily basis. You need to make a conscious decision every single day. Make a good choice in your life. Whether it's taking one of your antioxidants, your isotonic product, whether you're exercising, whether you're laughing or smiling, you've got to do something every day. Okay? Well, there are a lot of different components of health and wellness, all right? And one of them really involves, look at all of these things, brain, skin, heart, muscle, everything, okay? Let me try to take you on a journey around the body, and let's show you how Pycnogenol plays a role in defending against the process of aging and decline in function, okay? Well, muscles are really important, but we're not talking about the kinds of muscles that you see in bodybuilders when they're 20 or 30. We're talking about the muscles that you need to have in order to prevent falling, injuring, fracturing your hip, being able to go to the mall with your children, going hiking, enjoying yourself. Well, guess what happens? We build muscles until we're about 35 years of age. And then as a result of changes in hormone and inflammation and oxidation, we start to have a progressive decline in how much muscle. We may lose 1% a year. Some people will lose more. And then you come to an age, maybe in your mid-60s or early 70s, where there's an even more rapid decline in muscle, and that's when bad things happen. So if there was a way of preventing or reducing the decline in muscle mass, that would be quite helpful. Well, guess what the Pycnogenol and Horfag and Victor's group studied? They actually studied individuals as they were getting older, put them on training sessions, and then determined whether you could actually demonstrate that Pycnogenol had a positive effect on reducing muscle loss or retaining muscle strength. And here are the studies. And these are soon going to be published. These are 8-week studies, and whether it's hand grip, whether it's walking. But what this really is, it's the pursuit of happiness and liberty. The liberty to be able to go from your home to somebody else's home to a mall to live a happy life. So muscle tone and muscle preservation is critical. In medicine, we use a term called frailty, where a person loses their ability, they become weak. You do not want that, because once you start having weakness, you start having decline in function. That's for certain, okay? Well, when you look at the body and how we lose muscle, you lose protein, believe it or not, in your kidneys. Your kidneys are very important, involved in excretion of different toxins. When your kidneys don't work, obviously you have to go on dialysis or you're going to die. We can measure deterioration in kidney function, and we can also measure loss of protein in the urine very easily. Well, the individuals in this clinical trial had a decline in the amount of protein that they were excreting in their urine, suggesting that they were losing less muscle mass. Okay? How about your brain? You know, all of us are obviously involved, and it's actually really important for you to actually have brain function, all kinds of cognitive function. We're not talking about the individuals who unfortunately have already advanced to a state of decline where there is what we call dementia, where you have Alzheimer's. This is going to be one of the biggest problems we're going to be facing, by the way, with aging. Well, we're really talking about, you know, functioning on a day-to-day basis. Yes, remembering what your friends have told you, tasks that you need to do, simple, you know, cognitive function, attention, mental performance. And they actually showed in the clinical trials that the individuals who took Pycnogenol on a regular basis, you know, this was a 12-month study, had preservation or slight enhancement in cognitive function. So now we're talking about muscles, we're talking about brain function. How about the eyes? There are a lot of individuals who, especially diabetics, for example, they will get bleeding into their eye. Okay, and with bleeding in your eye, that's not a good thing because you're then going to become blind, especially if the blood is found in a certain part of the retina. Okay? And they actually did a clinical trial showing that individuals who were taking Pycnogenol had less swelling of the retina and less bleeding in their retina. All right? Now, if you're in that category, this is critically important. Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea if you could preserve ophthalmologic function as well. And what they actually showed was improvement in visual acuity. Now, appearance is obviously extremely important. So we went to the eye, we went to muscles, we went to your brain. But I know everybody's interested in their skin, all right? Well, skin is a function of collagen and elastin and certain properties that permit the skin to retain water and fluids. We also know that the skin is bombarded with ultraviolet light, and so you see a lot of individuals who will develop pigmentary changes in their skin, all right? So the HeartFact people actually did some really interesting studies on whether or not Pycnogenol could play a role in enhancing both collagen, elasticity, and decrease the amount of melanin, which is the pigment that causes these brown spots. And that's exactly what they did. They did beautiful studies, and they actually showed, this is the study that I think was done in an Asian population, in which they wanted to see whether or not you could decrease the amount of melanin, this pigment formation. And lo and behold, when you looked, I mean, this is something visible. You can't make this thing up. You can actually see a decline in this what we call hyperpigmentation. And it, you know, it requires about 100 milligrams or so of Pycnogenol on a regular basis. Well, what about ultraviolet light? You know, when you go out in the sun, you get red, right? And then you get burnt, especially if you're out there much longer. Well, they've actually shown that if you take Pycnogenol prior to going out, you will actually develop less redness. That is, your skin will be protected from the ultraviolet light. Now, I'm not telling you to take Pycnogenol and go bake in the sun. That would be insane, okay? But what I'm saying to you is just as you might use a topical ultraviolet light protecting agent so you have less photo damage, at the same time, why don't you do something on the inside? So you're taking something orally as well as something topically. All right? Now, this doesn't happen when you just use a product. This is not like a suntan lotion, which works for the 2 or 3 hours that you use it. You need to be on these products for a sustained period of time. It could be 4 weeks, it could be 8 weeks, it could be 12 weeks, to start to have this anti-inflammatory, this photoprotective ability. All right? Well, further on the skin, all of you like to know that your skin has normal, what we call integrity. All right? You don't want it to get dry and peeling. Okay, well, they did a study actually showing that one of the proteins, one of the genes that are involved with preserving skin barrier function was also enhanced. These are ultra sophisticated studies. I guarantee you there's no other nutraceutical company that is investing millions of dollars on basic science, gene expression, peptides. I mean, this is insane. I mean, this is what, the medical schools do. All right. However, there's so much confidence. Victor has so much confidence in this product for so many years. I mean, how many products do you know of that last more than 3 or 4 years? Not a lot. Well, guess they're in business for more than 30 years. So I think you realize why. It's the science behind it and the investment and the conviction that they're doing something that's going to make a difference. All right? What about as though that's not enough. If you just had a product that would improve your skin, you could sell millions of products, right? But how about your skin and your brain? How about your heart? Okay? I mean, how about even further? Pycnogenol initially was actually studied in Europe and used to help people with varicose veins, okay? They actually did a head-to-head trial with the leading product in Europe for varicose veins. And when you look at this trial, you'll see that Pycnogenol came on top. All right? And this was their original product. So if you have vascular problems in your legs, especially on the venous side, those ugly spider veins and varicose veins, this is a fantastic supplement. I mean, once again, if this were enough, that would be fine. Now, I've studied, and Victor knows, on male sexual performance because you need enhanced blood flow and blood vessels. So the bottom line is you've got a fantastic product, fantastic research. Thank you again very much for your kindness and your support. Be well.